Welcome to the Morning Skate Show with the hockey coach, Google Coach French. Here we have to go all the way to the West Coast to find a Michael De Villano.
We have a trade to announce.
You have the right to do it.
The Golden Knights of Las Vegas have traded for Jack Eichel and a draft pick for Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuch, and a wheelbarrow of draft picks.
Yeah, that's the big news of the day. It's just a typical trade by Vegas.
Totally. Big time.
Now, for me, it's like this is the only team can make a trade at 3 o'clock in the morning. Any other team can do that. At any moment, they can do that during the 3 o'clock in the morning. They do this afternoon or the morning late, right? Exactly. And then you talk about a team. All right, let's go back home now. Let's go make a trade, finalize the trade at 3 o'clock a.m. And then at 6, 7 o'clock this morning, all the social media was about that part. The Hockey Nation Show, Michael, was the first YouTube channel to jump live about that trade. So there was something great about that. And we was live at 8 o'clock this morning. And I think everybody was asleep already. So we announced that trade by the Buffalo Sabres with the Vegas Golden Knights. So that's happening. That's going to be a day of Jack Eichel everywhere. You turn the radio stations about Jack Eichel. You watch the social media. It's about Jack Eichel. The saga is over. The drama is over. Let's move on to the next one after that. But look, this is a big mega trade, honestly. Sure. You talk about a cornerstone players, we talk that. But before we start, maybe welcome everybody. And we have Adam Burgers, and we have a meeting at 11 o'clock. Number one friends of Vegas go tonight. He feel is a win the jackpot this morning. Adam Burger, so welcome. By the way, Michael, I'll be honest with you. Adam Burger is 3 hours behind us, so it's about 8 o'clock. I text him at 5 o'clock a.m. on his time. He's always not bothering me. He's always text me at 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was my time to wake him up at 5 o'clock a.m. I think it was a great news for him to wake up. But we have also Kimberly in the house and the Lisa D. Delight Show. Michael, if you want to learn about great food, you want to cook, that's the right place to go to visit her because she's doing all the time the great food. And I'll tap back in the house also. And David Arthur back in the house today, tomorrow. Coach, buddy, it's my birthday. Next Tuesday, I will be 24. But come back next Tuesday, and we're going to sing to you. Happy birthday. Michael is a great singer. He's amazing. A part of the Broadway classic show a long time ago.
One day, I'm going to sing the national anthem at the Anaheim Ducks game.
Here we go. That's all about it. You welcome, Lisa. We'll welcome you. Thanks for joining us this morning. Say hi when you stop by. So thanks, I got really appreciate it. So that's what happened for everybody in the house. Don't forget to click on the like. That'll be the great way. And also don't forget also to subscribe if you are did not subscribe yet. So that's happening, Michael. I'm done.
Well, I guess what was your initial reaction to this trade? What was your first thought on this? And the parts involved.
When you check everything like that, I think Buffalo again they did not do well. Another trade they slipped between their hands, and then oh yeah, like you talk about a player, the cornerstone, the players get like 80, 90 points. Who do you get in return? You get only Alex Tuch, and you get a bottom 6 over there. Then Peyton Krebs is never going to be a top players and NHL. You're going to be maybe a top second center, right? The worst case will be the third center, I believe. So he's not a number one there. Then the pick all depends going to get the picks everything on that. So for me, I think they missed a couple of opportunities to get again like they did with Sam Reinhart to get better. You talk about a cornerstone players, a franchise players, and you send only Alex Tuch and Peyton Krebs. Wow. For me, it's not like a 17 overall pick, by the way. So for me, it's not good enough. I think the winner of this one is going to be Jack Eichel. And Vegas is smart. Vegas is really very smart. What are we going to do? Jack Eichel, go take vacation after your surgery. Go to Los Cabos. Go to Mexico. Do rest with them. Come back when the puck drop for the playoff 2022. We're going to be in the playoff. We're going to wait for you. Then you're going to have a salary cap over $100 million with Eichel and the part, and they use really well. So for me, really great move and they can handle them, Michael. The only way they have to do, Michael, is to make the playoff. That's one thing you have to do, and that's
that's the thing.
The big one over there. So for me, it's a great move. Next year, that's another dimension. But right now, I think overall, for me, it's a great win for me, Vegas. Of course, any trade, Michael, in hockey, you have to wait a little bit longer. But again, I think Buffalo missed an opportunity to get a defenseman, to get a better forward. So for me, that's the biggest right there.
And I think that's what surprised me, because I was expecting like a Nick Hague in this trade. I was expecting them to have that other piece, because that's what we kept hearing. So to not get any defenseman back was a little surprising. I really like Peyton Krebs. I think Peyton Krebs will be a top 6 player. I think he's got smarts, and it's more his brain that you want, and his compete level is off the charts. He's a much more competitive guy than Eichel. But what Eichel is like an Austin Matthews level talent. So that's what you're getting back. You're right. Like, this guy is a big number 1 centerman, 6'3". He's listed 6'2", but he's bigger than that. He's got all the skill in the world. There's no limit to his talent level. What we've seen from him before and now in the NHL is he's a bit of a different character, but I don't think that's going to matter in Las Vegas. I think that, they have a very strong room. They have very strong coaching. They're ready to win. And this will be a huge piece for them if he's healthy. The only X factor, obviously, in the conditional picks, I think, are related to, it's a protected top 10 pick, which I don't think is going to matter. So that, that they don't get anything in the top 10. Krebs is a 17th. I was really surprised Nick Hague wasn't in this. However, I do like Peyton Krebs, and I think he will make this worthwhile. We already know Alex Tuch is kind of like a third line, flex up to second line type guy. So, yeah, it's a little less than I would have anticipated. Similar to, it's not as bad as the Reinhardt trade. The Reinhardt trade was like a gift. But I think you're seeing what Reinhardt is, right? Like, he's a bit player. Eichel won't be a bit player. Eichel will be the number 1 center they want in Vegas if he's healthy. And I think that's the big risk, is that the surgery doesn't work out. But, we'll see what happens. I think it'll be okay. He's young enough that it should be all right. So if you're a Vegas fan, this is great news. And I think, honestly, if this is Buffalo, you're pretty happy overall with it. But you would have liked to have seen a D-man. Like, to not get
on the flip side, Michael, Kevin Adam, it was a bit limited for his leverage to make a trade, right? When a player requests a trade like this, the other team is going to wait for you. Hey, buddy, if you don't want what we want, if you tell that. I think Kevin Adams the 2 things he went for me. First, he tried to get a max he can get. That's what the max he can get. The second thing, he did not retain any money for the contract of Jack Eichel. Many team was looking for that during all the time, the discussion, everything like that. The second thing I would say to you, since the beginning of this discussion, it's a long time ago. That trade was supposed to be done last Friday and Thursday, and it was pushed back until today, because they have to wait until all the documentation for the doctor in Birmingham to be sent to Vegas, and to prove to Vegas it's going to be fine, it's going to be great, no problem with that part of there. So that pushed back exactly who we are today. The third thing I would say to you it was Peyton Krebs. It was really the player where the Buffalo looking for. So without him and the trade, it will not work. For me, Buffalo missed. I will skip the second round pick, and I will try to get a defenseman for them. They have a couple of players over there they can get, like Nicola Hague, whatever you call him, the last one. I think that was the piece of that one. And now White Cloud signed a contract. They cannot get him. But for me, it was really the one I would add on that trade. I think it would be more solid for the Buffalo Sabres. But again, like I said, the winner for me is Vegas. But the leverage of what he can do, Adams may be the max he can get about that one over there. So it's a big trade. If you know that, by the time we tell us who is the winner at the end of the day. And, that situation right now at that moment, Michael, is about the salary cap. You have a team is over. Then you have a team with Buffalo is under. So Buffalo is not done yet with something like that. They have to figure out to get about $2.1 or $3 million back on the salary cap minimum, everything like that. So I'm sure they have a plan. He did not make that trade without knowing what's going to happen after that. I'm sure you have some things going on with that part of that. My biggest question will be how long Alex Tuch is going to be with them. I would not be surprised if he trade Alex Tuch at the trade deadline. He flip him, he's going to get something back in return, a picks or something at the trade deadline. That would be not surprise on my hands.
So I think if we look at Buffalo, they have 3 potential first-round picks in the upcoming 2022 draft. That is a great draft. I think that'll be beneficial. So that's a future possibility. To your point, I don't know. They have to do something. They're going to be under right now. They're at 61 mil, and they have to be at what, 66? So I think
so they have to get under over about that part over there. But that will be interesting what they're going to have. So 2.1 is maybe $60 million.
I don't see Tuch. Is he on the injured reserve? That's why.
Yes.
So he's 4.7. So I don't think this is current. Is this not currently counting towards their 60 some odd mil? 48. Nope, it's not. Okay, so it is counting towards it. And even with that, they need to come up with $5 million. So they're going to have to make a move. They probably knew that and had it in their back pocket that they would do something to add some salary. That's bizarre, Pierre, but they need to add a player. so there'll be something else going on here. That's kind of crazy because they have $9 million of that $61 million going to Jeff Skinner.
Now they said the lower limit is $60.2 million, Michael.
Oh, is that it? I thought it was 66 or 65.
Yeah, no, the midpoint is 70.9. So that's what happened about that one of this. That's what I read right now. I'm right there reading the rules for the NHL
season. Then, so you think that they're okay right now?
But they have something. I don't know. We have another player they have to put somewhere. But that I thought what I heard this morning, they have to do a move. He maybe did already the move. Well, I did not see that already. But that's what happened about that one over there.
So they're going to spend 63. Their cap hit's only 61. Interesting. So, I mean, this is, a Buffalo team that gets 2 players immediately, probably that can. I don't know how long Alex Tuch is out. What's his injury? I can't remember.
Yeah, and I thought bring a great point about this. It was my next conversation about to you, Michael, about this. But he made a Calgary situation, Michael. They have already made a trade with Calgary for Tkachuk, but Tkachuk told them he was not resigning over there, and that's what blew out that that team over there. That's the one over there. That's what happened about Calgary trade.
I think that's a problem. But you could have moved Tkachuk, but then he's only under contract to what, the end of the year? Is that what the deal is, or has he got another year after this? Let's take a look at. Well, I'm just thinking. Is he got 2 years?
RFA now? He's not 24.
Let's look. Yeah, he is RFA. So at least it's tradable. So you don't totally lose him. He's not UFA. So I'm trying to think in my head, like, what could you get for a Matthew Tkachuk as an RFA, because you've got him locked in.
Yeah.
You could.
I think he told them, "Look, I'm going to be there, but I'm not going to play after that." So
that's okay. But I think
I'm sure Buffalo asked him to have a long-term contract, right?
Yeah.
And they now want to take a risk to have him in their hands right now, and then after that, maybe trade and then restart again the same saga. So he said, "You know what? We're not going to have another guy like this." So that's what this blew out after that, and then they turn around with Vegas and they make that trade there. But again, I said, the leverage of the hands of Adam was really limited, and I'm sure he asked him maybe for a defenseman, whatever it is. If Vegas said, "Look, that's the only thing we have," he turned that.
So
we're not there, but next year Vegas have to figure out something else, because now they have like Pietrangelo, Stone, Eichel. That's already, Patrick has $7 million per sale. Look, I think they have like $12 or $15 million over cap
for Vegas. Yeah. So right now, they have 16 million in cap space, but that's because they have like 23 million or 24 million on long-term injured reserve. 27, Pierre. So that leaves them basically all of Eichel's salary over. So this is 100% the Kucherov scenario. He's not going to play.
Yeah.
They're going to.
And we push him back until then they would bring
Absolutely.
back for the playoff and they go from there. Well, it is smart at some point, right? Now they will say next year we're going to figure out what we have to do about that and go from there. But, I would be surprised they would try to trade Pacioretty at some point. Or I don't know. What's the salary right now? Can you bring all the way up on the page?
So right now they would be at 91 million. So their current cap space is 16, which basically means like they are 9 million over the cap, but 9 of that or 10 of that is Jack Eichel, and he's not going to play a single game this year until the playoffs. So, which, if you think about it logically, Peyton Krebs has 0 points in 9 games. I think he's going to be real good in Buffalo. He'll get all the opportunity to develop. But short term for them, they don't need him to make the playoffs. They need Mark Stone and Pacioretty. Alex Tuch would have helped. So
they're losing $7 million next year. Roddy Smith and John Mark, plus McNabb. So there's about $10 million going to be out, and they have another UFA at the bottom, but I don't think so. The St. Louis was mentioned yesterday by Rick Tocchet about that one over there, but at the same time, St. Louis does not want to including like Robert Thomas guy. I watched him again yesterday. He's an amazing, great hockey player. I think I think St. Louis will maybe trade Tarasenko. But at some point, Tarasenko is looking good this year. So they talk about St. Louis and at some point, but they never been close for what we heard from Ela Fryman. Everything like that. He told me about another team this morning. I forgot what he was talking. You have another third team. Try to look about this, but they turn around very quickly after that. But that's a big trade about this one over there. Buffalo has almost all the player on RFA or UFA this summer, and our top said. And then Yamo said, Kevin Adams, a rumor of Matthew Tkachuk been involved in a trade for Jack Eichel was not accurate. As you have right now, he is on the press conference at that moment. Kevin Adams right now, and that's the reason. So I picked Robert Thomas yesterday. That's a good pick over there.
He's a good player. I don't know how many points he'll get, but he's definitely he's good on faceoffs. He plays a 200-foot game. He can score a little bit. He's like a healthy Robbie Fabbri and a little bit.
He's stronger. Really a great skater, and his speed is there. Yesterday, really, I watched him a lot. Unfortunately, the injuries accumulate a little bit for him. Right, he got hurt a couple of times, but the kid have a lot of upside down of his skill and talent. So. Great move for you, Yamo, about that one over there.
I think if you look at Buffalo, you go, hey, we've already drafted Power. We have 3 first-round draft picks in the upcoming draft. They seem to be settling in. I think the goaltending's been better than they anticipated with Anderson, particularly. And it's like, wow, these guys are actually still pretty good. So I think they were trying to pull in Arizona where they don't have NHL goaltending. Which actually, funny enough, Arizona's got NHL goaltending now. It's the Czech kid that never played a single game in the NHL, but they're still losing. Victor Olofsson has been the star on this team. And I think we saw this the last 2 years. This guy is a legit player. So he's RFA. So that's good news for them. Cody Eakin was always a bit player in this, so you're not worried about losing him. Hinostroza has been real good for them. So him being UFA is not the end of the world, though. And I think that he'll settle in and maybe they re-sign him. Kajula is
more your defenseman.
What's that? Oh,
it's more their defenseman.
Yeah. But you look at the guys, you go, Colin Miller. The only guy I'm worried about is Robert Hagg. You almost don't care because the future is going to be Dahlin and Power. And this is why I was shocked they did not get Nick Hagg in this trade. As much as you like Nick Hagg, he's a 5'6" for Vegas. So, why you couldn't get their 5th or 6th defenseman is beyond me. I know he's 6'6" and he can skate. He's a good passer. He's a big guy, but he's not punishing necessarily. But that would have been a good piece to this. And then you've got basically 3 twin towers. You got Dahlin, Power, and Hagg. So that surprises me a little bit.
Yep.
Or Dahlin,
that's
Power.
The only thing I would say to you, that's the piece of the puzzle they're missing in my book.
That surprised me. So I guess it is what it is. There goes Vegas future picks. If they don't draft players that are incredible, this will be a steal. Well, I don't think they've
But
traded
you
away
never know, right?
yeah.
So, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you. Take the first one, pick Michael. They're going to get about, I don't know, maybe they will draft between 20 to 32 at the end of the year. That's really what I believe they will happening. At that moment, Michael, is it better to pick 22nd or to get a Hag for Vegas? That's what would be my point over there. So at some point, I believe me, that kind of player you're going to get at 20 or 19 or something like that. You not get like an amazing, like a top 6 player over there. He's going to have a good players, but at least they are lucky to get one, right? So
if you're in this draft, you really want, if you have a top, like I'm just looking at this, those top 14 picks are awesome. You're like very happy to get any of those guys. And it's not that these guys are bad, but I think this is where the drop off is for me. Like Juracek, I think will go higher than 14th. I think Nemec should go higher. I don't understand why.
Salomon is better. What is 16 on my book over there. And Mikor RT is another one with number 19 is a surprise over there.
That's why I say this is a deep draft, right? Like Nazar.
Look, Michael, I would not be surprised Montreal Canadiens Brad Lambert. I was just kidding. Montreal can get that one.
Brad Lambert, like I think I'm surprised. Like I thought he would be dropping by now. I would rather have Connor Geekie or Slavkovsky. To me, is better than Brad Lambert.
Slavkovsky is really the one I will look about that one over there for one. Or Miroshchenko is very low. Miroshchenko, Michael, is a top 5 in my book.
Yeah.
So I just did that. I did not do it. I just doing a video, not video, but the contents for the membership about my top 64, and he's a top 10, top 5 over there. So it's really what I see right now, Michael. They have a lot of good players on the 2022. But back to Corey Hill about his comments. For get Vegas to have a good pick, you have to be on the. Unfortunately, they cannot be there because the top 10 Michaels go back to Buffalo.
Yeah.
So it's conditional pick over there. So the best scenario for the Vegas, they have to pick number 11. But if they pick 11, Michael, they are not the playoff. Vegas going to make the playoff. And whatever you said, they're going to finish top 3 in that division over there. That's considered them after 16 over there. And depend what you're going to do after that. With Jack Eichel, they have a chance to make the second round, maybe third round. Now that bring Buffalo maybe at 24, 25, 26. So, again, Corey, I understand your point. But, a trade, Michael, is not, you never know what could change at some point. You have to be realistic, right? But at that moment, like I said, Vegas win that one.
I think as long as Eichel is what he was before or better, they win this. Don't sleep on Peyton Krebs. We know Alex Tuch. I don't know how long Alex Tuch is out. He's hurt. So that's, I assume he'll be back this season without much issue. And
he's back in December, I believe.
Oh, wow. Really? He's out that long. So it
was 6 months, I believe, no?
Jeez, that's not good. So that's bad. Wow, that's risky. That's a long-term injury for sure. So, I mean, really, you're hoping that Peyton Krebs plays up to his potential, which, let's think realistically. Is he a 50, 60-point player? Peyton Krebs reminds me a lot of Sam Bennett, like as a player. So I think Sam Bennett, in the right circumstance, has shown you what he's capable of doing, but it took a long time, right? Peyton's going to give you heart. He's smart, but he's not that big. He's very similar size to Sam. He's like 5'11", maybe 175. So I think you're going to get everything from him, but there's risk of injury there the way he plays a little bit, but he's real smart. So they're getting a good player, but they don't have, Jack Eichel in the end, if he's healthy, is the same level of talent as Austin Matthews. So that's a tough deal, man.
It's 6 months, and we expect about January about that one.
For Tuch, wow.
Yeah.
So that's
But
not
again,
going to
like I said to NR I would not be surprised if they trade him and to get 2 pick in return. At a trade deadline, Michael, they can get a first round pick with him. Because NR at the same time he said that, Michael, he have a great deal. Is a 6 million, is a 3.7 million. He's good for 5 years, I believe.
Yeah, he's definitely Alex Tuch has.
So I think overall is a great win about that one. Talk to you later, Coach Buddy. David, also on the prime. Who else do you trade because of cap space?
In Vegas?
You don't have to trade anybody, Adams. You're all set.
You're set. Right now, they're saying we're willing to make the playoffs without.
It's a 4.75, by the way. I apologize for the contract.
It's a great deal. I mean, so what you're saying is we are fine because what's going to happen is Eichel ain't going to be ready for the regular season. So this never hits their trade and their cap.
They have $16 million to add at what they have right now.
Yeah. So there's 27 million less 10. So they're going to add really 16 million. That'll put them at the cap. And then come playoffs, Eichel will come in and you hope that he can contribute. The X factor is this guy. If this guy can ever get healthy, Pierre, and you had a 1-2 punch of Eichel and Nolan Patrick, and then William Karlsson as the other centerman, like you'd be in great shape. But we know they have Chandler Stevenson. We know they have Karlsson.
Well, so I think at that moment for them, I think with Eichel right now, Michael, you have William Karlsson. And then after that, and William Karlsson is not there, by the way. He's not on your long-term injury. He's going to be there at some point. So that's another situation with him. Plus, you have Stephenson now coming back at the third center. That line is amazing.
So, Corey comments that this looks like the Erik Karlsson trade. It's similar, except you're not going to get a Tim Stützle. Like, you're not going to get a top 3 pick because it's top 10 protected. Josh Norris, I think, would be what you would hope out of Peyton Krebs. And I think eventually he'll get there, but I think the better comparison for Peyton Krebs is Sam Bennett. And Sam Bennett, when not playing in the top 2 lines and relied upon, if you underestimate him, he's going to get you 30 points and he can do other stuff. But I think in Buffalo, he'll get the opportunity to play top 6 a little bit. And I think he'll reward you, but he's young. And I think he's a character player and he's going to give you everything and he's smart. And he'll get his 40, 50 points. And can he get more than that? It depends. You'll have to see when he's 24, 25. And that's the reality.
If you look about that, Buffalo right now, Michael, they have a lot of center at that point now. They have, Middlestad, Cousin, Krebs. Yep. They have also miss another one right there in my head. Jeez.
I mean, they got Eakins. So right now they're playing with
Eakin over there too. And Thompson. Here we go. That's the one I was looking for. It was Thompson. So Thompson played more on it was on the single and as a center. So they have a lot of center over there. So for me, I see more Krebs at some point. He's going to be because now they're missing Middlestad, but as a center number 2. But I would not be surprised if he dropped them at number 3. That's what I believe. Peyton Krebs in the NHL is going to be a third center in NHL. That would be one. Now he can become a center number 2, but you have to run because right now he has 0 point and 20 game in NHL. He did not find his way and everything like that. So would be interesting, but that's what I think about that.
I think what Adam is saying is correct, which is Krebs has the potential to be a 20 goal, 30, 35 assist guy. So those are second line numbers to me. Can he over time do more? I think so, because his desire to play and his smarts are up there, but it's not based on his physical gifts. Like he's not a Jack Eichel who is 6'3", skates like the wind, shoots the hard, really hard, elite level player. So really, they get assets that are not bad at all. Tuch is a big guy, but he's really a third line guy, maybe second. And he's not going to be in until January. So there's some risk in here, Pierre. I don't know. I'm not sure this is great for Buffalo. Good for Vegas, bad for Buffalo. I agree with you, Steve G. I don't know if it's bad for Buffalo, but it's definitely not a slam dunk. There's a lot of uncertainty in this.
Again, the leverage was that. And remember, Michael, when you negotiate a player like $10 million, it's a part of the deal where it's a look, but we trade you $10 million. I don't want to retain any money. They tried to talk with Arizona. Arizona will refuse to be a part of the deal also. So there was mention about
really?
this. There you go. You remember, like earlier, I said Feldman said something about the third team. It was Arizona was looking about do something like that, and he didn't want to do any trade, anything to get a pick, everything like that. But I just want to mention this to you. But yes, I agree with Steve about this, by the way. So thanks to and that Remus Dallin start for this season.
He looks really good, Pierre. I mean, if you've watched him,
honestly, obviously, have a really bad game. The last game, Granato talk about this, but overall, he's doing well. The team's doing well. If you look at the lineup, guys, they are not good on the lineup, but Granato he get every ounce of their body to play well their system, anything like that. So I have to give credit because look the lineup, guys. You can tell me, yeah, but again, they don't have enough right now to compete with a big team, everything like that. But
they're settling down to where they're going to be, so they should get a high draft pick. In the end, it would not surprise me if they're in the top 5 contention. But as long as they're in top 10 picks, they're going to get a good player.
Yeah, of course. They're going to rebuild. Now they have power over there, everything like that. Yeah. So they're going to rebuild. And then, Carlson is over there. They have Quinn. Jack Quinn is over there too. That's another one we don't talk about really that and what that one. Steve, the problem with that is like Jack Eichel does not want to stay there. So that's what they cannot play him. He does not want to be there. Does not want to stay there. So that's a problem with that part over there for any reason. Right. So it's another rebuild for them. They understand. But the only thing I would say to you, whatever Kevin Adams is limited by the trade because that kind of stuff, he cannot do anything. I really enjoy always to listen to Kevin Adams. He's really smart. I wish I could I will watch after that. But the guy is really smart when he talks, and he's really legit, by the way. See, everything he says makes sense. And he's very close with the players. During the COVID-19, Michael, he stayed with the players in the locker room. So he built a little thing about that to show. So, I don't want said throw him all the bricks. I believe they get the best they can get for Jack Eichel at some point because he was limited. But unfortunately, you wish to trade a guy like him or to keep him. But that's the decision about that. A lot will depend how that first round pick pans out. Yeah, of course, Johnny, right? We know, Michael, after worst case 10, it's always a gamble to get the best of the best, right? At 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever it is, it's always, you never know. Some would pick up better at that point, but, with this 2022, guys, you talk about right now, possibly the first 20 really solid hockey player in that draft compared to other years where it was a little bit difficult. But I understand that part over there, Johnny. He did it backwards, bad for Vegas and good for the Buffalo Sabres. I'm not sure what you mean by this. What do you mean, Corey, about that one?
He did it backward. Well, he thinks that this trade is better for Buffalo than Vegas because it worked out in Ottawa. But I think Ottawa got a player in Josh Norris that was much more dynamic. They got a player in Brandstrom who's much more dynamic because Buffalo did not get a D-man. And the first round pick ends up being Stützle. They're not getting a Stützle. So they got more for Carlson than these guys got for Buffalo.
The only thing I would say, Michael, if we flip a little bit the way with Corey talk about this, right? It's Vegas does not make the playoff where it's not their plan. But if they don't make the playoff, Michael, and they finish 20, 21, 22 example, right? Or 21, 20, 19. Now they get the best of what they can get as a pick right now for Vegas, for Buffalo, about that one over there. Now, if Vegas finish less of 22, it's better for Buffalo because now they get Vegas can get their pick back to them. So is Vegas finish 23rd, 24? That's awesome for them. If they finish 2021, it's bad for Vegas.
So I put a player up here, Tristan Leno, as an example. This is a player that'll probably be around 25 to 30 in the upcoming draft. So let's say this is the guy that Buffalo gets. Let's read what it says. I wouldn't call his game dynamic. Right there. You go, boom, boom. Because you're getting a superstar level talent in Jack Eichel. Not necessarily his mind, but his body, right? So assuming he's healthy. He's a smooth skating right shot defenseman. So, if, that's fine. This guy may never play in the NHL. Like, this is the reality of where they're going to get a pick. So to Corey Hill's point, I actually believe Buffalo got more for Erik Karlsson, Ottawa got more for Erik Karlsson than Buffalo got for Jack Eichel, because Josh Norris is a number one center talent. Eric Brandstrom can play top 4 in the NHL. And the first round pick, by the way, he used to be a Vegas pick, which is interesting. So is that the same trade? I can't remember. And then Stützle is Stützle, right? Like, this is a Jack Eichel-esque level talent. So they actually got more. So I don't think this is an amazing trade for Buffalo. I think Pierre's probably right. They got to flip Alex Tuch at some point and get some assets, because his age and profile don't fit this team.
So, secondly, Michael, we said to you, like, if you have no conditional at the pick, that's another conversation right now, because now Vegas Buffalo can pick 8, 7, 6. Now they cannot pick before 11. So the wish is Vegas finish 11, like reverse the standing, but they can pick 11, 12, 13 at some point. That would be the best thing for them. So would be very interesting about that one over there. FWO Fred, welcome aboard, FW, first time aboard. So every time you're the first time, Michael, we have to tell welcome everybody.
So he asks if all leagues in Buffalo will be selling discount Eichel jerseys. Yes, $5.
Yeah, maybe there'll be something about that. And I'll say grabs develop. Top 6, bottom 6. For me, I will repeat, Michael, you expect a bit more, but for me, he's a bubble players. So when I call them a bubble player in the top, he's really bought the second center and the third center. It not remind me, but you remember Michael, like Lars Eller? I don't compare to him, but the situation Lars Eller, it came that way. You know what I mean? Like, he tried to get the top 6, never get it. He come back down. With age, he become better, and he can fit the second a lot, and then he come back down when the backs run, everybody come back. So that's what I feel about Peyton Krebs. Now, I don't say I compare him to Lars Eller. Just talk about the chair of what this guy did in NHL. That's what really. And let's Renaud, Michael, if I can recall, he was a 12, 11 overall pick or 13 overall pick by the St. Louis Blues a long time ago. But that's what I believe it will be, that one over there. So for me, that's what I expect from Peyton Krebs about that one over there.
My comparison inner tap has been Sam Bennett. And if you look at Sam Bennett's numbers, his first years in Calgary, he could not get on the second line to save his life. He's listed at 6'1", 195. I don't think that's what he is, Pierre. I think he's 5'11", 190. And he was not 190 when he came in the NHL. He was like 180. So I think unless he's grown a little bit, I think he's more like 5'11", 6 foot. But Sam Bennett has character, and he's smart. And I think what you look at him, you don't look at Sam Bennett and go, wow, this guy's an amazing athlete. And I don't think you do that with Peyton Krebs. And we saw he could play center and wing, and he was versatile, but he was never getting that top line minutes. He's older now. He goes to Florida, and he gets opportunity, and he's got 22 points in 18 games. And I'm not saying that Peyton Krebs has to leave Buffalo to get that. I think he'll get the opportunity, but it's not an empty deck in Buffalo. They have pieces similar to him. I believe, based on his compete and the opportunity, Peyton Krebs will be similar to Sam Bennett. I'm not saying he's going to be point a game. I think your first years, he's going to get 40 to 50 points. And I think Pierre's right. He's going to bounce between the second and third line. That's what I think the reality is. He is not an elite level talent, but he's a very good piece. But I mean,
but again, remember, like, they are not big. All the center Buffalo are not big. So Krebs about 5'11" max. He's more like 5'10", everything like that. Now, the trend with Bennett and him, Michael, is a 4 round overall versus the 17 or
Right.
18 overall pick.
Yeah.
That's another problem with that. I think Bennett for me is better to grab because his physicality, it can do a lot more things where grab is limited about that. Not said Greg's
Oh,
not
no,
good. You have a great vision, a great IQ space of the offensive side return of that. But again, at the end of the day, I think Bennett is better overall in my book because he can play physical, hit forecheck, back check. He bring a lot of role inside the team over there.
Well,
You know what I
first
mean?
of all, there's no way that Sam Bennett is 6. If Sam Bennett's 6'1", I'd be shocked. Because when Sam Bennett was drafted, he was 5'11", 170, and that's closer to what Peyton was when he was drafted. So I think when you see these guys off the ice, very similar physical stature. But there's a lot of years between them, Pierre. So that's why I say when Peyton Krebs hits 24, 25, he'll look like Sam Bennett physically. Because Sam Bennett is not a big guy. But Peyton Krebs is willing to hit. He's a really good forechecker. He's smart. So I think that's why they're very similar. But you don't go, yay, I got Sam Bennett for Jack Eichel. Right? It's, Sam Bennett's a big find because you got him for not much. So I think this is okay. The return for Eichel is not great. There's a lot of risk, and that's the issue. I think the issue is this guy's going in to get surgery now. So the only X factor here for me is
he's 6'1" everywhere, Michael.
Yeah.
Everywhere, like NHL, cap friendly. He's everywhere. 6'1".
When he was drafted, he was 5'11", maybe 6 foot, and I think 6 foot was pushing it for him.
But he was 18, so he maybe get long.
That's what I'm saying.
About that one.
He could have grown a little bit.
At the end of the day, I think he's better to grab right now in my book.
I mean, I've watched Bennett since he 13, 14, and I've watched him through the OHL, and he's the same size as this guy. He's probably bigger now because he's 25, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with Fred about that. Corey, which line he would be first line with Petrity and Stone, one of the top best line in NHL in my book. Can he fit over there? You talk about the top about that. Yeah, Musa, my yesterday pick all round Edmonton Carolina money line and Columbus Blue Jacket plus 1.5.
Some good games.
Yeah, I was wrong with Columbus Blue Jacket. I was pissed off right there, but that's another story. How does Vegas respond tonight against Ottawa, Adam? Is that two teams struggle a little bit, Michael, about Vegas, Ottawa? Ottawa does not play the level they should play, and Vegas, because of injuries, the lineup is diminished. But it will be interesting. Yeah, most Jonathan Drouin injury, Drouin and he will not play on Thursday. Is the day today about Jonathan Drouin. Glad he didn't have like a concussion, Michael, or something more major. You don't want a player get out like this, like a puck in the head or something like that, on the face, or a skate. You don't want player badly like that. So, fortunately for him, lucky, nothing happened major for him. We wish him to be ready. But again, it's another blow for the Montreal Canadiens, another injury about that. Calgary play with injury, Petrie play with injury, and now they lost Drouin, they lost Perreault, they lost Paquette. Biron start to skate right now on the ice, so congratulations for him to be back. But you take another man. Drouin on the ice today at practice in our top set, yeah. But he's considered like a day-to-day. Maybe for me, Michael, you maybe keep a little bit longer. But who knows what happens? Maybe a game decision. I did not look, honestly, since the show start.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about the big trade, and that's what we should have been talking about. But last night, there were some awesome games, and this was one of them. It was a bit of a seesaw battle. So a couple of things that came out of this. One, how good is Bo Byram? 3 points last night, Pierre. 2 goals and an assist. Cale Makar has not been playing what we would expect. I think he was hurt last night. So Bo Byram becomes basically the number 1 D. And you can see the level of talent that we saw in the WHL. Like, this guy is up there. There's a reason this guy was a 4th overall pick. Excellent defenseman. And I cannot see them parting with him. Jake Bean has also, though, really turned out for Columbus. He comes from Carolina, where he couldn't really get in the top 6 consistently. we did see him featured in Carolina on the second power play unit, and you're like, wow, this guy can skate and move, and he pops 2 goals last night. Then there's the story of the game for me, which is Cole Sillinger. He's approaching, I think last night was his 9th game, wasn't it? So last night was his 9th game, Pierre. And how does he respond to say, hey, I want to stay in the NHL? He scores 2 goals and gets them. So what a steal. Like this trade with Chicago is looking like they absolutely hit a home run here. They got Adam Bachquist, that's a top 4 for them on D. And you got Cole Sillinger, who's an 18-year-old that's saying, hey, I can play top 6 for you. So I think this has turned out very well for Columbus.
Still, and when people said to me, Michael, Montreal, Trevor Timmins make a lot of bad trade, he make a lot of bad pick and everything like that.
Really?
It's always not looking at your backyard is the best. It's not always the best way. After when Michael had the 10th pick this year, and I'm repeat all the time, they pick Tyler Bouchard. They have a chance to set Cole Sillinger. And sometimes I always said to me, it's not easy, Michael, to get it right there over there. You know, you can blame the Casa and the Wellstad, but you're right there with kind of Ottawa. Imagine Cole Sillinger right now with Ottawa.
So I will say, I did not think Cole Sillinger was this ready for the NHL, and I did not think he was this good. Like, we've watched him in the W, we watched him in the USHL. His dad played in the NHL forever for a lot of teams. But if you look at his dad was a very productive NHL player, and he's got a good skill level. But what you see is what his dad was, which is he's resilient up here and he's tough on the ice. He gets what it takes to be a pro, and that's why he's having success. So this is a home run, and I think his work ethic fits in with Columbus really well. And so they're excited, we're excited, and you're right. Ottawa is going, gee, I sure hope Tyler Boucher works out because this looks really bad right now.
Brad Larson said 2 weeks ago on the radio, for him, Sillinger is his maturity, his character. That's the most quality as a hockey player at that age. He said, I'm really impressed by him, the way he responds, understand everything. When you talk to him, he sit him at the 3rd period a couple of weeks ago, and they talked to him the next day, and he came back and he scored his first goal in NHL. So that gives you an idea what Sillinger is amazing. For me, Barham is really, a really solid defenseman. I think Makar, everything like that. But, geez, Colorado looking bad overall. OMG. That team, Michael, is struggle, not close. What the, McKinnon struggle right now. It just, I don't know why the people pick that team to win the Stanley Cup. I don't see this right now. I know they miss Rantanen and Makar, but at the end of the day, Owenson was terrible. The goal and the shot and the shoot and overtime was terrible. How can you a shot for 45 feet? Jeez, I was so upset about that goal. I cannot believe it. But anyway.
So the guy who played really well last night was Nazem Kadri, by the way. Like, he looked great last night, so I got to give him credit. Having Mikko Rantanen, Landeskog, and McKinnon missing time, they're playing hurt already. So I don't think McKinnon is fully healthy. Obviously, the other guys are hurt.
They have only one goal, Michael, in 7 games.
Right. He's not playing healthy. I don't believe that. I think there's something up. I don't know what it is.
Of course, the injury play against them, right? We have to admit. I think you bring a lot of good point right there, right? They missed yesterday, Burakovsky, Makar, you know what I mean? Like Rantanen, they missed Landeskog 2 games. McKinnon was not there for COVID. Then you have to go lower. If you want to go lower, you have also Girard was not there a couple of games. They don't have Devin Toews yet in the lineup. So the Kitchen is play only 1 game over there. So that, at some point that's you cannot win that kind of stuff like that all the time. So it's really strange, everything like that. So it'll be interesting.
They get healthy. They need those top 3 in every game and playing at their best. So that's a problem. Cale Makar has not had a good start. He's a -8. So he's got 6 points and he's still a -8. Bo Byram a +5 is, these guys play together a lot often. So there's something weird there where Makar was definitely struggling at the beginning. So
Can he
something's
become the winner of the Calder Trophy, Michael Biram?
he can, because he only played 17 or 19 games last year.
Yeah, I think he can be a nomination.
So he can be Rookie of the Year. This guy could be Calder. He played 19 games.
Yep.
And then he's, so he's eligible this year. He's a 2001 birth year, Pierre. So this guy's 20 years old. This is why I was saying
we saw him play last season. Remember when we did the Junior Cup? We see him. He was like, everybody talk about Cam York. Remember that you know what I mean? But Biram was really the quarterback for the Team Canada. Really talented. It's impressive what Colorado picked those kind of players like that during the draft. We have to give him credit for that.
Like, I know there was like, hey, you should trade him and get a forward. I'm like, you guys don't understand what this kid is, because he's super talented. He's as talented as Cale Makar at the same age. Like, there's no difference. Like, Cale Makar is a little smaller, but Bo Byram at 17, Pierre, took a pretty good Vancouver Giants team and won a championship. Like, he put that team on his back, and he's that type of guy. He's going to be quiet, and then he's going to kill you. He's so talented. So I think that's why I said before, I'm like, wait and see what this guy can do, because he's going to have a great career. Like, they got a legitimate number one defenseman here. And that's what I kind of figured. I wasn't sure if he'll be like a 55, 60-point defenseman. I don't know if he'll maintain, kind of this 60, 70 or 80-point pace, but he's got that type of talent. So, that you got to be excited with that. I think they miss Ryan Graves. I think
very badly overall. But again, that team is too many injuries right now. And the bottom six, I will repeat again, is not good enough. Impressive what Comfort does right now. Comfort has almost 1 point per game. I already 5 goals, 4 goals. So anyway, I saw a couple of people in the chat right now talking about fun things. Michael, you can pick it up.
So Adu Radi, and yes, Adam, I think that McKinnon's hurt. I mean, he is obviously hurt, right? But
that's something that we don't know. How he was the COVID, how he was recovery. Is it a mile? Everything on that, but McKinnon is not look like. I agree with you about that one, Adam. Great comments.
So Adu Radi, we saw Adu Radi stuck around the camp. I think he fits very well for the Islanders in the future. Whether that's as a second or third line center, I don't know, but it's going to be something in that range. He got traded to Olli Jokinen's club. So I think that this is a guy he got early hype as being the first overall pick, and I think that was kind of our expectations of him were maybe too high because he was physically mature at a younger age. He's not a dynamic player, but he's a good player. So I think you just got to look at him and go, get him to New York, let them deal with it. He'll develop to his fullest potential for the Islanders, whether it's in the NHL or the AHL to start. I don't think he's going to develop in Finland. I think in Finland, the expectations are there that this guy's going to be a superstar, and I just don't think that's what he is.
It's just time.
And he's physically mature, Pierre. He's just not going to be an exciting player. He's not like.
No, he's just got draft. Like, he's patient with them. It's something a little bit longer. We thought that for me, he's just patient. We see what happened after that.
Yeah, he's like 18 or 19, right?
Yep.
So calm down at Finland. That's why I think it'd be best for him just to come over. Rick Tocchet last night, St. Louis is going to trade for Eichel. Interesting. Well, I think that
honest with you, Michael, you have to give credit for TNT. The shoot he does there, it's fun, it's great, it's entertaining, it's good. It's not like, like follow the rules like NBC Sport, like Liam and then John and Carter, whatever they are. I don't say blame them, but the fun there, the way they talk each other, it's more liberal, it's more open up. It's fun to watching them talking each other. Gretzky was not there yesterday. But I really like that show over there between intermission. They bring a ref, Michael. The ref talk about what's going on their eyes. A big mistake for the ref yesterday. Again, oh my God, St. Louis, the Kings, at the end of the game, they could give a penalty for the Kings, drop the puck. Kopitar bring the puck on the stand, and they thought it was tips. He did not tips again. So, but again, they are really really well done for TNT so far. I don't blame any ESPN, but as I just said, the way they do this right now, TNT, they are really, for me, fun to watching them, the game over there.
Yeah,
Releo back in the house with Mr. Antti Kuivula. Welcome to Wizard and everybody else. Thanks for being a part of the show. CJ said, Michael, don't worry about from the Colorado. Of course, they are going to be fine, but they are another thing for me to win the Stanley Cup. They don't have that kind of team at that moment right now. And then we need to make a trade, Michael. At some point, Michael, they cannot handle Girard, Markar, B-Ram over there and toes together. So one of the three will happen. One of the four will have to get for what they are missing at the bottom six, and maybe the second left winger over there. They're missing a big piece of the puzzle there.
They're missing something. And that something probably went to St. Louis. Like having Brandon Saad would have helped. So that hurts. Donskoy hurts. It's like they lose the middle of their lineup to maintain the top again. This is like the Toronto scenario. This is like Chicago. This is like all these teams this is like the Kings, right? Like you got these big contracts at top and nothing in the middle, and that's a problem. You're not going to be a contender with that. And Edmonton is proof of that they fixed that middle. Look at how, like last night's game, this looked like a close game until it wasn't, Pierre. And we keep seeing this. Edmonton just has the horses to pull away in the long run.
I'll be honest with you, Michael. I have the trade for them exactly what I believe they should do.
What is it?
Trade B-Ram to the Nashville Predators against Philip Forsberg.
I would not do that. I would not trade Bo Byram ever.
But you trade Cam McCarr?
You don't trade either of them.
You keep them, both of them in your team?
I'm telling you, these guys are together going to be way better, and that'll propel them. The problem right now.
So how do you play your power play?
They've been playing together, or you have 1-2, right? Like these guys are real smart players.
I understand, but what you try right now, you focus on two similar players to build your team. One, you get only one where you really believe that's better, and to get an amazing, great left winger, join your team. And that's what, for me, would be the right thing for them to do that.
Yeah, I personally would not trade either of them. I think that this is like not their problem. Their problem is the second line spot, which is what you're saying, move them to get the second line center. And they're getting pretty good miles out of Kadri, but he's old. Like he's a 1990 Pierre. So I don't know who you get for a Byram. I know that there's discussion like Forsberg would definitely be an elite level player, and that would benefit both teams. But I don't think Nashville needs Byram. Not right now, anyway. Maybe. I mean, I get
they don't have anybody else after that. Ramen, Uzi, and that's it.
What? They have Ekholm, they have Fabro.
No, not a type of player like Biram. They have Ekholm there, but they don't have a lot of strong players right there. Ekholm is more like a 3 or 4 defenseman. Now you can build around Mekar with around Biram, and when OZ is getting older, you have Biram over there. Now my point to you is like if Forsberg doesn't want to resign over there, that's my point behind that.
Yeah, I get it. And it's logical. He's a 1992 birth year, I think. And Byram's a 2001, so there's like 8 years difference between these guys.
Oh yeah. I just said like for capitalize for something. And again, if you try Byram, have maybe other players in the league. Yeah. I just try to find like where the matchup over there. And again, was just through this year. I'm not saying like, oh, that would be. But at some point, I think Joe Sakic, if he want to fill this hole, he will have to trade one of the two at some point. That was just the point about that one over there.
Troy Terry, hi Kai Lindstrom, and we also had our other Finnish friend Antti has joined us.
This is a surprise, by the way. I know we're going to go a little bit quicker, but this is a surprise about Troy Terry, Michael. You have an amazing, great so far. 6 goals, unbelievable what he accomplished right now. Everybody was expecting what Comtois last season we're going to do, and now this is a new Comtois for this year for me. Great performance so far, Troy Terry. Great to bring this on the table.
All right, so let's see. Canadian Giants.
Wayne Van Galen, by the way, might come first time. Michael, he's here on the board, I believe.
Oilers are hot. The Oilers are more than hot, Pierre, in my opinion. I think that this is what you do when you fix the middle of your lineup. Zach Hyman solves a big problem, so now you got 2 top lines. The third line with Fodral, and now we're starting to see Kyler Yamamoto start getting an opportunity, and he's a talented player. He's just not a big guy. but I think he's got the ability to play top six. And if you can fit him in there, you're good. Puya Harvey got his 10th or 11th point last night. So that's a really good news story. This is addition by not subtracting him, So I think that was a great move by Holland to make sure that he doesn't leave town. So I think overall, like Edmonton showed last night against a very pretty much better team than we thought. Nashville's had a great run, 4 wins in a row. And this was a close game until Edmonton decided in the third it's not. And if they have that kind of pull-away power, I don't see anybody else in that division that can do that. I mean, and how many teams in the NHL can decide to turn it on like they turned it on? And then they don't even have their number one goalie. I still think goalie is an issue here. I think that it would be smart if they got a Gibson or they got a Fleury or one of the pieces that I think will eventually move. But I mean,
but we have to give credit right now for Koski again. He's the best goaltender right now in the NHL for statistically.
Isn't that wacky? Now he played against Connor. It's crazy, right? He played against a rookie, right? So Connor Ingram was in net, so that didn't help. But to your point, like, he's playing to his best level. 6-1-0, 218 and 934.
Yep.
So you say what you got to say to yourself, and if you know Ken Holland, he probably says that's good enough. I'm not going to move him.
Now, yeah, you have to admit he is better when we talk about this. So it's pretty good to see him to perform like this. He's not he just every time it's like a fight against the puck. But you have to give him credit right now. It's too, what I mean. So Koskinen have a really great start, and the Oilers are a bulldozer. They destroy everything in front of them. Michael, whatever who you are, McDavid, but Michael is better to win Gretzky in my book.
Oh, right. I agree with that. I don't think there's ever been a player like McDavid ever.
I believe it now. And then Leon Draisaitl behind him is underrated, and he have a contract at $8.5 million. But that team, Michael, they patch up a couple of holes and they get better. And now, if you feel like Yamamoto start to score, that's not another one over there. So that team, Michael, is unbelievable about that one over there.
I think this is what they've got now. They've got diversity on offense. Like they have so many pieces that the coach can move in and out. And the defense, Evan Bouchard, this is what we said in the offseason, right? Either Broberg or Bouchard's got to step up and be an NHLer. Bouchard is the guy.
Yep.
You still got Broberg.
He's right now, right? And he's right about that. He played now with Nurse. They bring down Keith and Sissy together. And then you have Chris Russell and Barry. And they have Coco that's not playing right now. You know what I mean? The defense is look better what we thought. I was not sure about Sissy, but Sissy is getting what you expect. So that team is a little bit better. And Derek Ryan play a solid as a center, win a lot of face-off. Forgel, you know what he can get. And Cashin right now play a great solid hockey game right now. So that team right now, Michael, with Devon Shore score yesterday, when you get a little bit 1-2 goal from the bottom and left and right, you have McDavid right now. It's Draisaitl play the first line, and then they put Bound Hyman the second line. So really well balanced. And we blame a lot Ken Allen, but we have to give him credit right now for what they did.
Yeah, these moves were all excellent. We have to give credit for Ken Holland. We give him a little bit of chin music over some of his moves, but in the end, there ain't many teams that are going to compete against Edmonton. They've got legitimately no excuses why they can't make a deep playoff run at this point.
Yeah, and so Michael, this is a great. Draisaitl can get a hat trick, Michael, empty net, and he decided to give the puck to him for Pulju, and that's what it's about. That's what this is, a team concept, team building. And as a coach, you love to see this. And the teammate love to do that. He could be selfish on that one. Yeah. And nobody will be upset because he can get a hat trick, right? No, he gave the puck over there. So Andy, great comments about that one over there. Great with you in our top. Their defense so much better. More the top 6 over there play better. And,
you saw that. I didn't see that.
It's a great team. And also, Quinn said 50% power play, Michael. Unbelievable. 46 something, whatever it is. Their power play, Michael, it's a goal every time. The puck movement. And Wayne Gretzky said their power play, Michael, is better at what they was the time the Edmonton Oilers on his time. Sure. Just give you an idea.
I believe it. I mean, you think about the goaltending in his day versus now. Now it's a science. then it was like art, like there was a lot of smaller goalies. That's not the case now. Like we've got these monster goalies, they're technically sound, and they're scoring at will. It's like, oh, I want to score. Okay, good.
Yeah, absolutely. About, and I didn't see the Bison head, but I
No, I
wouldn't be
didn't see that.
surprised to see that. Edmonton guys, as a fans right now, I know we're Andy Quinn, you guys, and we have a few times. I did a live stream. I called the Oilers, and suddenly we got 20 new subscribers, and we
Yeah,
have a 6, 7 of them
I
of
watched the
the
Oilers games. I love Oilers.
Oilers, and everything like that. So it's fun to watching them play. It's the speed up is so unbelievable, but. It's the thing right now. We qualified Carolina, one of the best right now with Florida, but Edmonton have to be in that conversation with them at that moment. For me, they are the best 3 team at right now for what I saw in the beginning of the year about that.
Yeah. They're going to be tough to handle. Bison King Puya Harvey. He is a Bison, man. He's 6'4", 220. He skates real fast, and you're not going to stop this guy. He's a monster. This is a great development, and the patience of Holland to keep him and convince him to stay is excellent. Like, this is the best move for this team. Vallejo says he's sad that Bennett is projected to not play. That's a problem.
Bennett is out tonight. He'll be back. Should be back Saturday. Kudas is out, and Nutivara is out. We expect possible Lundell back in the lineup and Thornton or one of the two. It's a game decision day to day. Game decision for both of them. Mike Smith is skating right now in our tap, but will be. I don't know if he'll be back right away, but take time with him until Koskinen looking good. It's not a it's not urgency at that moment. So I think they will give him a little bit longer. And Quinn, thank you so much. We really appreciate. Hopefully you subscribe to the show. You're welcome to come back. We have 3 shows per day, 11 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock afternoon, and then depend what's going on the evening. If we do a live stream with Montreal Canadiens or other team, we all try the best we can go with our other show at 9 o'clock p.m. if we don't do a live stream. But during the season, we try to get the most game, everything like that. Thank you so much, Quinn. Very kind from you, and go Oilers, go, right?
Yeah, we love the Oilers, so I'm happy to do more live stream with you, Pierre. All right, so last night, some other games that we'll touch on. This game, it looked like the magic of Patrick Kane was going to kick in, and Chicago started pulling away from Carolina, and Carolina in the third period said, We saw the first goal from Seth Jarvis, who I think is just going to be a bang-up player for this Carolina team. This is like the big stealth player for them. D'Angelo gets on the board a bunch again, so he gets his 8th assist. Martin Neckish, if Martin Neckish starts scoring the way he's capable of, he's now got points in a few different games. Second goal last night. Tough game for Chicago because it looked like they had pulled back and they were ahead, and then that was it. They were like,
Michael,
no.
For me, Michael, this game show exactly a team with confidence, a team that they are scary to play hockey right now. And what I'm talking about is a team like Hurricane. They are confident. They knows what they are, and so you know what? Don't worry about this. We're going to come back, and they believe on themselves, and you can see that they come back 3-1 deficit, and then come back 4-3, right? So that showed to them. And the flip side, Chicago shaky team. And then 3-2, 3-3, and then we gave the goal again, everything like that. But again, for me, this game is about Martin Neckish. He's getting hot. A back-to-back game with a goal over there. But what is KK? Kokanimi again does not do well over there, unfortunately, but they don't need him really. Chevny Carmichael is doing absolutely an amazing, great year so far. I always continue what he's doing. It's just a team with you talk about Edmonton. It's one between Edmonton for me and Carolina, Michael. It's more about McDavid, Tressel is really the biggest. On the flip side, Carolina is everybody. It's more like from the top to the bottom, from the goaltender to the forward. You can play all together. On the flip side, Edmonton is more about those two guys, the player. But that team is just deep on every single line for the Carolina. About that, they have amazing, a great team for me. 9-0-0, they are 1 game shy to tie the record in NHL for the beginning of the season.
Wow. Yeah, I think the big story in Carolina, obviously, like Aho, such a super player. Svechnikov, a super player. Underrated is Teravainen. And then your second line is Trocheck. And Stahl is still playing at a high level in the third. Like, he's the master of the third line. And you've got to look at Seth Jarvis coming along. Derek Stepan scores last night, so that's another big thing for them. The big question marks we had around D seem to be answered. Like Tony DeAngelo is not missing a beat. He's like the steal of the offseason.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us, Bud the Monkey, and Eagle Fang Sports is here, Pierre. Eagle says he thinks that Buffalo is going to win that trade and there's risk for Golden Knights. There's risk in the surgery, but if you look on paper, I think, if everything works out health-wise, Vegas clearly won this trade.
But again, I think it's the risk, but I think they will not trade for nothing without knowing what could happen after that. So the chance turn around to be a Eichel. Now, the only thing, Michael, I would said about this, if ever they trade Alex Tuch and they get a first-round pick and they get a second-round pick or something like that, right? Or the two-player for Tuch, now that's changed a little bit the trade between both of them. Does it make sense? Like,
absolutely.
Right now, I believe it's Vegas, but we don't know what could be the next, right? We do the trade bait or the trade hierarchy when you look at one player, right? So at that moment, for me, Vegas, but time will tell us. That's what we said. We always have 3-4 years before we can figure out about that.
Like, imagine you are Buffalo. You have Alex Tuch. He's healthy now. It's at the deadline, and you move Alex Tuch to Colorado for Justin Barron. You throw in a third pick because you got lots of picks, and you also get Newhook. That's the sort of trade where Tuch goes in and solves Colorado's problem, and you get picks. Like, you get players that are almost ready to make the NHL, like Justin Barron or an Alex Newhook, and that just adds to the bounty. That's what they need to do. I think that's what you're saying. Like, this is an available contract. It's only 4.7. He's going to fit on a lot of teams. And if Colorado legitimately thinks, hey, we're one player away, and I don't touch any of my top 6D,
it's a great thing. It's a great thinking about that one over there. I said will happen, but if I was Buffalo, I would listening at least what you could get in return.
Yeah, absolutely. There's rumors Ryan and Dylan Strome and the Ottawa Senators. I think the reality is that Dylan Strome's contract is pretty attractive, but he's unrestricted. We know that Rangers are going to come up against money soon enough. Dylan Strome is not a fit anywhere right now. Like, he wasn't a fit even in Arizona. He's not a fit in Chicago. Ryan Strome and Dylan Strome together, I think, would actually be a very good thing, Pierre. Those brothers are very close. If you add Matthew Strome into it, then you'd have all three on one line, but I don't think Matthew's going to make the NHL.
But the problem for Korea, we said to you, is like the Rangers are not a good fit to trade with Ottawa at that moment. And I think Rangers doesn't want to trade Strome yet. I don't think so. That's a part of the deal. On the deal is Strome. You know what I mean? Like, what you get for Chicago right now, the only thing they will look is for the picks. And I don't think so. Ottawa would give their picks at that moment. They're not going to make the playoffs. So I don't think so at that moment for there. I think Dylan would be, it'll be interesting to see that if we get moved more at the trade deadline, I believe. But I don't see Ottawa do any move right now because they are right now hurt. They are missing Colin White and Shane Pinto. So that is the line over there. So you have to be patient with Ottawa. If you're fans, don't do any move right now. You don't have to take that move. That thing don't go to the playoff anyway, Michael. That would be my best.
The off season.
Yep.
In the off season, Ryan Strome's a free agent. Sign him because he'll make your second. Yep. Monkey, they won't have to until next year. I missed this comment from Bud. Oh, who is Vegas going to shed cap wise? So we talked about this, Bud. They're going to let Eichel go through his surgery and hope he's back by the playoffs. So that $10 million won't hit the cap at all. In the offseason, I guess it'll be another matter. But, basically Stone and Pacioretty will come. They'll be at the cap. And then they'll do a Kucherov where you'll add in for the playoffs Eichel. Chase Prisky is playing his first game in the NHL today with the Panthers. And he's a South Florida-born player to debut for the Panthers. So that's interesting.
Yep.
Any word on Pesci? He hit the boards pretty hard last night. I haven't seen anything. Have you seen anything?
Yeah, he's heard about that one. There would be it's a day today, but he was supposed to be reevaluated today to see is the longevity of his injury. So that's what the last word I heard about that. He left the game yesterday. Great point, Andy.
Yep. Eagle Fang, if healthy, Eichel could put Vegas over the top. I think so.
Definitely.
I think that
He is a cornerstone, Michael. He's a franchise player. That's what he is.
For sure. Yep,
right?
For sure.
So,
I don't think he's a franchise player personality, but his talent level is hard to miss. And when you've got leaders like Mark Stone, Alex Pietrangelo on your team, and the character that Vegas team has, and a strong coaching staff, I don't think it'll hurt them. I think
Michael, I would say to you, Eichel cannot carry on a team by himself. But Eichel with a Pietrangelo, a Stone, and another one, 2-3 more star over him, he don't get the pressure. He don't have to talk. He don't have to take all the crappy stuff he don't like to do. And that's for me is a great fit for him, because now, you know what? I don't need to be who I am to be, like carry on everybody on my shoulder. So for me, that's what I see that a good fit. That's what you said about his personality. I think that's fit him. And in Vegas for him, that's perfectly. What I would say to you, Michael, is Vegas, Michael, they don't care. They go for the best of the best. You have to give credit. They find a way to make the big trade all the time. I understand they don't have a last first-round pick. Them, it's not about next 5 years. It's right now. We try to win every single time. That's what the fans want, and that's what they try to do, is to win the Stanley Cup sooner, quicker, faster. They can do, and they have right now a chance to do it this year with Eichel for the playoff. That line, guys, Michael, that team is going to be the only thing you have to do, Michael, to be sure they can make the playoff. That's the only thing they have to do. And that's after that. That's another Kucherov case for the upcoming season. So if you have Vegas fans, you're excited about that signature of that trade.
I think Eagle, we don't think Colorado is a contender at the moment. They might surprise us, but there's a lot of stuff that we saw in the offseason that they lost some players. We don't think McKinnon is healthy. Rantanen's obviously not healthy. Landeskog's missed with injury. Those are three massive pieces.
It's an injury team right now, Michael. Like Vegas, what they are, like Toronto, like Montreal, they are. Yeah, some teams they don't play well, Michael, because of injuries. They are hurt a lot of players in their team, and that's what happened. That's why you have to be careful about Florida. The next two games, they don't have those kind of the center right now. They're going to suffer also about that. So a lot of injuries around the league, and unfortunately, the attack Pittsburgh, Michael, that's another team right now, many injuries, and they don't do well. That's the reason they play for 500 for Colorado. Colorado should be 600, 650 minimum, but again, they are hurt. So that's a problem. And you can go with San Jose, you can go to a team like Los Angeles.
They lost Donskoy, they lost Saad, they lost Graves, and I think those are the middle that, that hurts them. Now you got to get your middle back up to speed. And Alex Newhook has not turned out like he's ready. So that's a problem, right? Vegas
Cooper Hickar, I don't know his last name. Cooper is aboard. First time in the house, Michael. Welcome, Cooper.
Nancy Ranta, Calgary may have messed up the karma with this trade stuff. Nah, Calgary fine. I think
not with Sutter.
What's that?
Not with Sutter.
Yeah, Sutter's the leader of that team. And I think they're playing a little quicker than I thought. I think what you keep hearing is that Matthew Tkachuk is not going to re-sign in Calgary, though. It just seems like he wants to move. I don't know what that's all about, but maybe it's just living in Calgary he doesn't like.
My concern over there, Michael, is the money hand. Now he play on the 4 line. That's a little bit concern about that one. I think they have to move him. At some point, they will have to move him. I don't see fit in the Sutter system, everything like that. As a big guy, they can get something better and bigger about that for sure. I think we have to go back in the past, the past, Michael. 1150.
I don't know if he's saying to move Bo Byram. Is that what he's saying? Move Bo Byram?
Who said that? 1150. Is it Bellino?
Well, I don't know. I think he said, what if, maybe I'm missing this, but what if Brame, I don't know if that's Byram, got traded to the Ottawa Senators? I don't think it's going to happen. I can't see. They are not going to trade this guy. You're nuts if you trade him.
No, is Antti Koivula? Who said 1150?
That was Corey Hill.
Yeah. No, Byram cannot go in Ottawa.
No, I haven't.
They have Jack and Sanderson, Michael. They have Shabbat over there. They have a lot of puck mover over there.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
And are you going to trade Tim Sozzle for him? That makes sense.
That's what you would have to do because I believe he's that type of player. Like
Josh Norris, that makes sense. Patterson, not make sense.
yeah,
That says
Bennett
not
is
a good position. What you said, Corey, just said
I was
Ottawa
going,
cannot need this part of that. And CG may be the right things right there. We talk about Biran, but he's going nowhere. Maybe the best thing
no
about that
way.
one over there, everything like that. But at some point, say I always said to you and Michael, Colorado have to make a move to what they are missing the piece over there. All right.
Yeah.
It could be Justin Byron, could be someone else. But
Yeah, they got
to get
more.
a big piece of the puzzle, Michael, the top six, they have to create one of the B-Ram or Dustin Dawes or something like that. But again, you know what I mean? Like, I don't say they will. I just said to get what they need to trade someone. It could be Samuel Girard, Michael.
It could be but he's real. I think that it's what you said. I think it's Justin Barron is very close to the NHL. And he's got offensive ability. You've got a third guy here. He's not the level of Makar and Byron.
Well, the market for him, his top market is not better. I think Samuel Girard, Michael, could be another one over there. Now,
that's why you decide.
Trade, and in this, Michael, do you trade Samuel Girard for Tyler Toffoli?
Maybe. I don't know. It's weird because Tyler doesn't play with pace. He's not a fast player. He's just got a really good shot, and he's a heavy body. So it's a weird fit. It could really work out in Colorado because they have so much skill, and if they get him the puck, he can really score when you get him the puck. And if he has to handle that,
so they fix the two teams fix the problem, and maybe Montreal can have a third round, a second round. I don't know, but I think that would fix. Montreal's looking for one of those kind of players. I think. Look, I have to go somewhere, a trade with one of the defensemen and get a good winger, left wing for the team. Nikoshin, whatever his last name, is not a top six on my eyes for that team, for any team in NHL. So
I think Brandstrom, I don't see why you would trade this guy, Pierre. He's just going to get better and better. You've got
I don't think so. The one I would say yesterday, I mentioned, you guys, you know his last name, Dekar or whatever his last name.
Yeah.
That would be one they have to get trade. Yes. They have to move one of the two. They have two similar players with Mete over there. I think Backstrom, Michael, is the best one between both of them.
They're not going to move Bernard Docker. Bernard Docker and Sanderson are line mates already in college. So those guys were playing together. That's what you're looking for is like in the NHL, this guy's like 2 and this guy's 3. And Shabbat's 1.
But what do you put Backstrom on that one?
Brandstrom? I don't know. Brandstrom's weird for me. You've already got Shabbat. You've already Sanderson's going to be a big body that can skate, and he'll get you offensive.
My point right now, if you don't do something with them, you have all kind of same similar defensemen. Nobody can hit.
Yeah, well, I don't think that's true with Sanderson. Sanderson will destroy you. Sanderson and Bernard Docker are the Bang twins together, and Sanderson's a big, strong guy that hurts you. Physically, that's what the thing is. When they looked at him, what they didn't say was, oh, this guy's a really offensive defenseman. It was the opposite. They said, this guy punishes people. And then they go, oh my God, he's so patient with the puck and he can skate. That was secondary. So when you get Sanderson, you're getting a punisher. He's like similar to Braden Schneider.
He's better on the defensive side. He's a hitter.
But he's also got the skill that when people first looked at Sanderson, they were like, he has these big wide hips. He punishes guys down low. Like if you're going one-on-one against Sanderson, you are in pain. And then what they realized was, holy crap, this guy's a great skater. Oh my goodness, with the puck, he just makes these really patient little decisions. And you're like, oh my God, how did he get points? So it was the opposite. It wasn't the flash that gets you with Sanderson, but he's got it. So that's why it's a great pick. Bernard Docker originally was more of a defensive defenseman who had a little bit of offense. So that's why I think he's like a number 4. But he's a great skater again. And I think this is where we get confused. Just because a guy can skate doesn't mean he's an offensive defenseman. And I don't know if Bernard Docker is a big offensive defenseman. Brandstrom should be because he's smaller and he's got skill. And that's what you look for him. So that might be the guy that's on the outs at some point. Because I think you've already got
comments Avalanche about Bottom-Monkey about Michael Reinhardt. I think it's smart.
I mean, he's cheap. I don't know why they didn't get him.
That was smart. Yeah.
Cheap all the way around. Bouchard could be moved. Why would Bouchard be moved? Bouchard is like cheap. He's big. He can shoot the puck, and he's like patient. I would not move Bouchard.
Maybe I would be wrong, Michael, and I could be wrong. I'm wrong a lot. I believe a long term, Bouchard could become better to Darnell Nurse.
I think
on the offensive side, better vision, better spots. Nurse is hit more physical to Bouchard.
More athletic.
That's only difference between. But I think for me, Bouchard bring more on the way with the Edmonton play, and he's better to Tyson Barrie.
He's
I
definitely
think if you talk about this in our prep, I believe they will trade before Tyson Barrie, before Bouchard.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not even a question. Like Bouchard is not fast. So I think when you look at Darnell Nurse, he's very athletic. He can really motor. And he's got good offensive instincts, and he's mean. He's tough. Bouchard is just very physically, he's a big guy. He's like 6'3", 210, 215. He can shoot the puck, and he's smart offensively. He knows what to do with the puck, and he makes the right choices. And he's calm because he goes, listen, I'm big. I'm going to hit you if you come into my space, or I'm going to use my stick. And he's just got that confidence. And I just don't see you moving Bouchard. They waited for him. The next guy to come in is Broberg. And I think when Broberg comes in, he's a little smoother. Those will be their top three. I mean, that top three is going to be real solid for a long time. And I think the guys that move out are like Barry and Keith and Cece. Those guys will be gone.
Yep. Corey, we have a lot of questions.
We don't know
tell us again the question. We'll go to answer to you, Corey. That's not a problem about that. Biron deserves a spot on the Canadian Olympic team. Unfortunately, no.
That's pretty tough, man.
They have too many. No, but Michael, they have too many older players right now. That team can make it, like Morgan Riley and Trody and Letang, everything like that. I think is a bit earlier to him about that one of that, but don't worry, the next 4 years he's going to be a part of that team over there. Do you think Lenny resign with Columbus? He's an RFP, so he cannot go nowhere. I think Columbus is going to do it. I think he will do it for one more year. And also, I just want to mention Patrick Lenny leave the game, I believe, yesterday. So he have something happening to him. I'm not confirmed 100%, but I saw this somewhere somehow, or I hear this the last couple hours. So it'll be interesting about this. What is the price for Dyson Barrie? Not much, honestly. A third-round pick, maybe at the trade deadline, a second-round pick. But I can't. He fit right now for what Edmonton need on the power play. He's really the quarterback for them, Michael. Every time he put them on the quarterback, so I don't think so they will trade at that moment. But at some point, he will have to. That's the defenseman I believe they have to trade for the Edmonton right now to keep that quality hockey team they have.
Yep, I think so. It'll be interesting. Hopefully he's not injured long term. He's looked great to me. I think he's fit really well. And I think that he says, look, I'm happy. Let's just stay here. And I think that's what'll happen. I don't know if he'll get $9 million. I think that maybe he agrees to a little bit less money. That's what my thought would be, but Panthers could get Barrie. They need a quarterback. He's very much a one-dimensional player, but that one dimension's pretty good. Just, in the power play, you can really make it run. Pierre, we're 30 minutes past.
Yeah, hold on. I just want to answer by the monkey. Do you believe Aaron Ekblad is not a quarterback right now for the power play? That's the reason they let go Yandel.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Ekblad, he carry on that team on power play. So you don't trade for Dyson Barrie. It would not make completely follow what the team has right now.
Yeah,
the Panthers have everything. I think we don't give credit again. The only thing they're missing is a young Cole. Look for a players and NHL defenseman as a defenseman 5 or 6, like young Cole. And that's what, if you miss a puzzle for the Panthers, that's only place. Yeah, an older spot. And they have right now Connington, and they have to have a low salary. So for me, the best player they could get right now, it would be something like young Cole. Otherwise, that team don't need anything else. They have all the pieces of the puzzle right now, and to play under the pot or there.
Yeah, I agree. Before we wrap, Pierre, the Kings pull out a win last night in overtime. This is their third win in the row, I think. So they come from behind and beat a pretty darn good St. Louis team. This was a good game. the guy that's leapfrogged from being a second round pick and a problem child to an NHL legit winger is Artur Kaliev. He gets a goal during the game, his second of the season. He then scores the game winner in the shootout. And I think he had an assist before this. Oh, I guess he didn't. But he's been playing real well for them. This is good news for them. Want to mention Jordan Kyrou is not missing a beat. Like, this guy is
He's
so
slowly
good.
for the last couple of games. I'll be honest with you, for Kyrou, we have a 7 point at the beginning. Now he dropped maybe 1 point the last 3 games, something like that.
Yeah.
We have 10 points, so he may be a little bit more. But I think he dropped a couple, like maybe 1 or 2 games didn't perform, but he's a great one. The game, Michael, Kiliev, remember, he was one of the best. He scored a goal, I believe, in the team junior last season
For the
for the
US.
winning the game against Canada, right? He's a great sniper. He's a great hockey player. Have a chance to see him every summer here. He trained with the Russian coach here. Kaliev trained with him, so I have a chance to talk to him a couple of times. But listen, it's a Patrick Lane. If you want to compare him, Kaliev, I don't say he is like him, but the way he played, the sniper he is a little bit what Patrick Lane is. That's what you can get with Artur Kaliev. He showed a little bit better now. You get a little bit of chance. You have more confidence. Again, Torrey Crook scored 9 seconds at the end of the game. Was a very solid, quick, do the best he can on that one over there. It's sad because I think like St. Louis could win that game. But again, that's when it came, Michael, without the 2 defensemen. Don't give a lot of goal without Walker and Trudy, and the team start to winning because those kind of players like Kaliev and Kapuri and those kids, they step up over there. And the line with Yafalo, Kempe, and also Dano doing well. Kempe, Michael, is underrated on my eyes right now on that team. And so great performance again overall for that team. And they find a way right now. They win the last 3 games. And they play against a solid team yesterday. The St. Louis Bennington did not do well on the second goal, but great. It was a great game to watch. I watched until 1 o'clock. I paid the price this morning. I slipped a little bit over, but it is what it is when they play those games at 10 o'clock the night. About that one there. Johnny Colden, what time tonight, guys? 5 o'clock p.m. and also 7 o'clock live stream for the Montreal Canadiens again. The New York Canadiens, be a lot of game tonight, Michael, on the schedule for NHL. A lot of very important games, so it'll be interesting to follow up everything happened about that. Thanks for the show. I'm about to go now. Everybody look is leaving. But again, Michael, I'll be honest with you. One of the great show of the Hockey Nation show in the morning. We have over 24 likes and we have over 25 people show up. So thanks, that's guys. The quality of what you bring, Michael, even though every single morning. So thanks to be a part of the show. And everybody else, guys, without you would be impossible. So before we leave,
you are
yes, you are.
You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Michael, we have to stop because Corey Hill got that question. So we have to answer. We have to be nice here. So that's what we try to do and answer all the questions. So here we go, Michael. What do you think about that?
I think at some point, and I don't think this is going to be quick, Pierre. I bet by the end of the season, you see Fleury get traded. I would think that would be the guy because I don't think there's anything going on in Chicago that says they're going to make the playoffs, and he's going to probably retire. So I could see him being moved at the end to an Edmonton or someone that's a contender that needs goaltending. Maybe it's Colorado. Maybe that's a team we haven't talked about. It's going to have to involve. Sorry.
Which one?
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Okay, yeah. There'll be someone there. I think for some reason, Michael, I will, because we have to go understand. Tarasenko.
I don't think he's going to move. I don't think he wants to move anymore. I think that team's
because now the team doing well, everything on that, and everything. But for me, if you have one player at the trade deadline, we have a big impact for the playoff, and they know they're not going to resign him and the team. I don't know what they are. That would be a guy like him. So, he talked about a star. That's just the name came to me right away, quickly, but bigger, right? And what would be the time of trade deadline, Corey, and Michael? You have some buyer, you have some seller, and we don't know which team is going to be out of the playoff at that moment. And it could be Vegas. Example, Michael, now they are not making the playoff. They may be trade for Pacioretty, maybe Stone at some point. Who knows? But quickly, right now, for me, Forsberg, Langholm, and Tarasenko are 3 players right now. They become UFA, and I think there will be one of the 3 could be traded at some point.
I believe that you will see Forsberg re-sign in Nashville. I don't think he'll go to free agency. That would not. I think he wants to stay there, but maybe it's a real good lifestyle in Nashville, and they got great fans. But maybe he moves.
Well, you're right. If honestly, Forsberg, you have no reason to leave that team.
Not really, but
only way, Michael, maybe he see this team not going to win the Stanley Cup and he want to be a part of something, or they have a chance to maybe to go Tampa Bay or Vegas or a team where have a Colorado example. That would be another conversation.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right about that. Honestly, they should be there every time. That. But do not underestimate the New York Islanders somehow, somewhere to make always a push to get that player and. You know what I mean? Like, that's some work. So, Michael, we love you, Michael. I love to be with you, but you have to go to work. I have to go to work also. We love everybody, guys. Thank you, Kimberly. Everybody, guys. It was an amazing, great show. I look forward to you tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, Michael. Have an amazing, great Thursday. Thankfully. Thanks, Eagle, to everybody else.